Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Exotic Astrology. And many of you had asked me to explain the importance of Saturn's Ashtakvarga points in transit. Very interesting question and a very important one because whenever you are judging transits, we must use Ashtakvarga also, apart from so many other things, including dashas, but we rarely use them Ashtakvarga points. So it's very crucial. Let's discuss a brief intro about what Ashtakvarga is. Well, I would suggest you to watch my Ashtakvarga videos. I have many videos on Ashtakvarga, so please watch them. Right. So I won't go again into what planets are, what points they give where, how much maximum, minimum, or total number of points, and all this. Bhinna Ashtakvarga, Sarva Ashtakvarga, and all this. So please watch my other Ashtakvarga videos. So now you have to understand that suppose Saturn has transited to your second house. Okay, currently Saturn is in Capricorn. So let's assume that you are a Sagittarius rising. So then for you, Lagna wise, ascendant wise, not Sagittarius moon or not Sagittarius sun, alright? Sagittarius ascendant, the rising sign again, because you always confuse, I know that. So if you are a Sagittarius rising, then Saturn is transiting in your second house from the Lagna, rising sign ascendant. And then suppose you have 25 points in your second house. In your original birth chart, disclaimer, all right, in your birth chart when you were born, suppose you have 25 points. So then now the thing is, many times people think, oh, what they will do is they will see, okay, I have 25 points. Okay, 25 is not good, right? Below, it's below 28, so it's terrible. So this transit will be horrible for me, like every other transit of Saturn. And then they will see what's going on in those 25 points. So if they see that Saturn is contributing like 1 or 2 points, then they will take solace. They will think that, oh, maybe this will be a bad transit for Saturn because Saturn won't give me the strength to work on this house. Or if they get 3 4, then they are like very happy. Sometimes they get 4 or 5 points, then they become unhappy. They think that, oh, Saturn is going to make me work very hard, all Saturnian traits will be required. So even that makes people fearful, right? So if Saturn gives less points, then they are unhappy. If Saturn gives more points, then they are fearful. So my request to anybody who is watching this video is to please get out of this fear game which many people play in YouTube. Okay, so don't give in to all this. So the first thing that you should check is, irrespective of any transit of Saturn, irrespective of that, from your ascendant, moon sign, whatever, you must check your original Saturn in your birth chart. How many Ashtakvarga points, where Saturn is contributing how much? Okay, you must check that. Okay, so now the thing is, when you check that, then you will understand what's the flavor of your Saturn. Okay, so all the planets give points to all of the houses, and of course most of the houses will have planets, 9 houses. And so therefore it's crucial that you check that first. Okay, without checking that you should not come to transits. So once you check that, then you see what's the situation of your second house. So we assume that Capricorn is your second house because you are a Sagittarius rising and it has 25 points. Now you have to check among those 25 what's the number which Saturn is giving there. Okay, if Saturn is giving like 1 or 2 points, then you have to check, because if it's 25, then it's very likely probable that most of the planets would have given average numbers there. Then you have to check which houses are sorry, not houses, which planets are giving like more points there. Okay, so what is Jupiter doing there? Now Jupiter always has higher points, so he will always likely give more points. Okay, but you have to get an understanding of what is more or less. So once you do that, so for example, you could say that if Saturn gives 2 points, because Saturn has very low points in Ashtakvarga, and if Jupiter is giving 3 or 4, so it doesn't mean that Jupiter is giving double. Okay, it's almost the same if you take the ratio. So therefore, once you check that, then you have to see what is the relation between these planets. So suppose you find one planet is giving some abnormal numbers, like Jupiter is giving 7 points sometimes. Then you have to check what's the situation of Jupiter in your birth chart. Why do I say this? Because sometimes good points can be a very good thing in Ashtakvarga. More points, I mean, and it can be very bad sometimes. So how do you know is it good or bad for you? You have to check what is your birth chart telling overall, the horoscope, not Ashtakvarga, the entire horoscope, your D1, your D9, and all your divisional charts. So once you check that, then what if Jupiterian traits are good for that horoscope? So then that 7 points, that big number is good. Okay. Otherwise, it can be bad if Jupiter is, suppose, the Lord of Adusthana in your horoscope from the ascendant. Hmm. So suppose you are for Sagittarius rising, this won't happen because Jupiter is a ruler of two Kendras. But suppose you are a Capricorn Lagna, then Jupiter is the 12th Lord. So if the 12th Lord is contributing, like for example, 7 points to the second house, for in this case, your second house will be Aquarius. So then what happens is you might incur too many expenses in the name of your family. Okay, this can happen. I have seen this happening always. Or if the seventh house is linked, then it can be your spouse, because of your spouse. So now when you understand now, sometimes what can happen is you might have a family business, all right, and then you might have expenses, and then you can have more income. Okay, so the same thing, 12th lord contributing 7 points to the second house can be very good if you are in a family business where you have to do a lot of expenditure in the beginning and gain profits later on. Then this is a fantastic thing. Now you should be able to identify that from the horoscope, that will this expense become a loss or a gain in the future. Okay, for that you have to analyze the entire horoscope. Okay, now when you have checked that, okay, maybe there is example of family heritage through which he can gain a lot of money later on, then you know that this Jupiter 7 points is good. Okay, so now uh, when it comes to finances, always remember Saturn is also the Karaka for the 10th house. Okay, it's very important. Mercury, Sun, Saturn, these three are Karakas. So, therefore, now if Saturn also is contributing like 3 or 4 points, then you could say, because Saturn has quite less points in Ashtakvarga, then you could also say, you could always say that this transit will be harmonious with the overall purpose of the horoscope. So then you know that this is going to be a good transit. But suppose now that 7 points of Jupiter is only indicating that this person will only have losses, okay, in account of family or some family member or anybody. Second house can mean so many people actually. Then this transit of Saturn can give flavors in a different way. First, one flavor it can give is like it can make the person very much depressed. Oh, why my family is spending so much? I have no control. Or it could be the other way around. The person is like working all the time, but may not be depressed, but working to support the family, and very much hard work the person is doing, and still not getting results. Okay, or it could manifest in a positive way, that the person feels that, okay, my family is not making me do too many expenses, too much expenditure is not there from side of my family, so he could be happy with that. Or he could be like, okay, I'm having this expenditure, but later on I'll gain in the future. So therefore, you really cannot judge a transit by just seeing the Ashtakvarga numbers. You have to see what is going on in the horoscope, in the birth chart. So that if that house or that planet is in harmony with the overall birth chart, then you know that these Ashtakvarga numbers can be studied in that context. Okay, without that, if you just say, oh, 1 point is bad, or 4 points are bad for Saturn and 2 points are good, 3 points are okayish type, you will just play a game of numbers, such useless numbers. Now, is there anybody in this universe who can tell me what is the meaning of 1 point of Saturn? What is the meaning of 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, or 100 points? Nobody in the universe can tell you that. Okay, so therefore, do not judge like this. 1 point is like bad, for 4 points are also bad. 2, 3 are good. No, never, never, never. What if there is a great dasha going on and great transits are happening, and then if the Ashtakvarga points are not that good, then that could be something negative, very bad for the person. Okay, because then the person, it might happen that there are a lot of opportunities which the person is getting, but the person may not be working. He might be lazy. So then this Ashtakvarga, this transit of Saturn, could not be very good for the person. Okay, so therefore it's very crucial that you actually understand things in the right context, in the right purpose. Otherwise, uh, this will just be a game of numbers. Okay, and that's why people get frustrated while using Ashtakvarga. They say, oh, I don't know, my Saturn is giving this many points here, this many points there, and then I'm like, all right, whatever it is, points are coming, but the thing is, what is your overall horoscope telling? Where is your focus? What are the focus areas during your dashas? If that you can identify, then you can play these number games. This is good number, this is bad number. Otherwise, you will just be, as they say in Hindi, na andhere mein goli mara, tir choda. It's like shooting birds, in the dark. I mean, you don't know, it will hit them or somebody else. It might hit you sometimes. All right, so that's very important that we understand the flavor of the horoscope, and then we see the dashas, then we check transits. Okay, and when you are checking transits, always make sure you use the Ashtakvarga and the overall points for Ashtakvarga also, which is there in your birth chart for that house. Okay, and for the Hindi viewers, Nitin Kashyap ji had made this video. You can see that Nitin Kashyap ji ने वो कक्षा slot के ऊपर भी बताया, वो भी देख सकते हैं आप. मेरे चैनल पे है, आप टाइप कर सकते हैं ना, नितिन कश्यप एक्सोटिक एस्ट्रोलॉजी. यू कैन टाइप लाइक दिस, जैसे टाइप करिए आ जाएगा जो भी है उसमें. तो मैं वही बोलूँगा, अष्टक वर्क को और डिटेल में स्टडी करिए. यू शुड स्टडी अष्टक वर्क मोर इन डिटेल एंड वॉच माई अदर अष्टक वर्क वीडियोज. देन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड ओके हाउ टू एनालाइज, बिकॉज in those videos I have clearly mentioned that if a particular focus area is indicated in the horoscope, then only it makes sense to see the points in that context. Otherwise it doesn't make much sense. Okay, because you may see that a 10th house, so suppose for example, if a person does not have a very prominent career. Prominent career doesn't mean that the person only has name, fame, only then the person has a prominent career, but focus. Okay, sometimes people don't have much focus in career and they're just making money very easily. Okay, doesn't mean without hard work, but that's not their focus area. Their focus area is like children or marriage or some other thing, spiritual life, something like this. So in that case, the Ashtakvarga scores can have a totally different meaning compared to another person who has very strong focus in career and wants to do very good there. Okay, so then the Ashtakvarga scores, same numbers will have a different meaning. So you must know how to